Hello everyone and welcome back to the part 7 of our tutorial where I'm explaining how we can build an AI agent for different software development phases. In part 6, I have covered how I built an AI agent which actually helped me to just interact with the GitLab. And I just explained how it works through the command line. In today's video, I'm going to explain what kind of UI I built top of that AI agent, and I have given you the complete code walkthrough, right? For this entire code where we have 24 tools, right? And then we have different, the workflow where we start from creating a branch, then we make some, the new files, then we ask our agent to just push that to the branch and then create an MR, review the MR and address the MR, right? So now since I'm planning to have this agent for the non-technical user, then it's still, giving everything through the command line through terminal. It's again very overwhelming from the non-technical users, right? And that is where the screen you are seeing on my computer. I just built this UI with the help of a Streamlit Python library where you don't need to learn HTML or JS or CSS. It's a pure Python library where you can write your entire code into the Python code, and then you can have this application up and running, right? So if you remember, whenever I run, this agent through the command line, I can quickly show you that. Okay. Then I can go inside this. Okay. And then I agent, right? So when I run this, right, this is how it actually works, right? So it's first, give us, whether it is able to connect with all the tools and all the RESTful servers. For example, whether it is able to connect with the GitLab or Jira or Gemini or OpenAI, because Gemini and OpenAI I'm using for making a connection to the LLM models. GitLab is where I want this AI agent to interact with. But this is from the terminal, and then user has to write everything. And if you can watch my part 6, you can get the link in the description and you can get the link on the right top of the screen as well, right? So now if I don't want to do it, then, we can write a Streamlit program, right? And before I just go into the coding part, let's quickly see how this application works. So this section, which you are seeing on a left pane, GitLab, Jira, Gemini, and OpenAI, which is on the left sidebar, it's just showing the same information, right? How we just confirm on which project, project ID, on which branch, my current agent is configured to, right? Here you can see all the information, right? All the tools, GitLab, Jira, Gemini, OpenAI, it's able to get connected. Then we have, this is the Gemini, which model we are currently hitting for Gemini, for OpenAI, and then the twin, this one is for the Ollama for locally running LLM. Then default project ID is this one and the branch is bin, right? So we can collapse this. Second one is the working directory. We have to tell here we can set the different, the directory, but here you can see this is on my D drive and this is the same location, which you can see here, right? So this is the same location. Okay. Just this AI agent tutorial beginners, then we have this, and then we have, and this is the location, and this is what it is set to a here. So you can change if you want. Then we have a safety mode. I'm just going to talk about the safety mode with the code as well. So here we have a safety mode enable. So I just categorize all those 24 tools. If you remember, we have 24 tools, and I can quickly show you. This is what this application shows, right? Here we have all those 24 tools, I have covered in the part 6. We have these tools, right? These tools are nothing but just a method. Here, if you can see these green mark, then we have this amber color, right? What it says, whether those tools, executing those tools in the GitLab is safe or not. If those tools are just doing read only, meaning it is just extending the information, it's not doing anything. It's like, getting all the MRs, getting all the branch, getting all the projects, which kind of a read only request. So we are safe. But whenever we are going to do some manipulation, specifically on our branch, then it is a high risky window, risky affair, but it's low risk because we are doing everything on our branch only, right? But when you actually push the code to the main, where you are actually changing the main code base, which is the highly and the critical risk category. So that is how I just categorize the tools on Streamlit. And you can see the high impact one is merge MR, meaning it's the most risky operation to be taken, right? So why I did it? Because I just wanted to give a human in the loop, whenever this agent takes any action which is going to change something which is too important for us, and we cannot accommodate any kind of wrong, manipulation by our agent, right? So this is what, this high level, explanation, and then we have a system prompt information. So whatever I just walk you through, I just try to put over here so that the non-technical person can understand what kind of information, he needs to know. So these are few things which if he is aware of, he can easily understand, how this particular agent is working, right? So now the very first thing which we're gonna do is we will start with the simple action. So let's quickly see, show open MR merge request, right? You can directly chat. This is the chat window where you are seeing this GitLab developer workflow agent. This is our chat pane where you can directly interact. These are the quick actions. List my project, so you can see all the project which I am having on my repo, and we can just see, open MR request, so we can see the MR request, open against different repos. Step by step, it's pretty much create branch. So if you just look at, right, create branch is something where you are going to make some changes on your repo, right? It's not that critical and it's not a risk kind of stuff, but it's still, it is something where you are changing something on a repo, then I would say it comes under the risk. But this is again a category which I categorize in real-time situation. You can just categorize the tool in a different bucket depending upon what is your intuition and what is your expectation from those tools, right? So now since it is going to create this branch, right? So that's the reason this human in loop, meaning in this chat pane, it is asked whether you want to approve this or not, because this agent wants to call create branch, and this is going to change your repo. So let's quickly approve it and see what it is going to do. So now it is going to create this particular branch. Okay. So create branch, it looks like branch already exists, which makes sense because I have already created this, and that's the reason I am. Now, if I just ask, okay, I want to I updated few code files, and I wanted to push that to the branch. Again, this is something where you are changing something on a GitLab repo. So again, it's asking for your approval, and we can simply deny over here. So right, so this is how you can just interact with all the operations through this UI in a very chat kind of a window, which will give a non-technical person an easy interface to interact with the CI/CD, with the GitLab repo, right? So we have a review comment, ready and merge, right? And CI/CD pipeline. We can simply ask for create a CI pipeline for one particular feature. You can just ask for your own branch, and let's see what happens, right? Okay, the agent wants to call create CI pipeline. So basically it's now trying to call a method which actually going to create a CI/CD pipeline, which agent is going to take care. Branch name of this one and the Python version, this one, you can change it if you want it, right? So what you are typing over here, you can directly type manually as well. Now you want to approve it or deny it. I'm just going to simply deny this, right? Now coming to this is what, this UI is going to do for you. And now this has reached to the point where if I handed over this code to the non-technical person, he or she can easily use that, and he can interact with the GitLab like a pro developer or a DevOps kind of a guy, right? So this is it from the demo perspective. Let me quickly walk you through with the code. So from requirement perspective, all we need is this Streamlit library, so currently it's 1.58 version, but I'm just using 1.50. And this is the simple code, right? Not a simple one. So the very first thing, we have to import it, and then you have to set the page configuration. Here you can just read through the documentation of Streamlit. So what you can do, you can simply just go to the documentation is very good of Streamlit. As I mentioned, it's 1.58, right? So you can simply go to the documentation. You can see all these things. So there are a lot of information, which is available over here. Streamlit component, you can click over here and you can see, and it provides almost every snippet, every code snippet, and you can just keep adding those kind of stuff, widget, charts, authentication, connection, image, video. So it provides you all kind of, additional plugins if you need it, and what kind of information, you need for any particular method which is Streamlit provides, so that you can design your application, right? So coming back to, so very first thing which you have to do, set the page configuration. So page title, you can see GitLab Dev Workflow Agent, and this is what over here. If you want to change it, you can quickly change it and it will just pick that up, right? Okay. So the next thing, you define a page, that we are just importing the same Python code, because there is no change I have made on the actual AI agent code, which I covered in part 6 in more detail. Here we are just creating this wrapper, right? And then it makes sure whether, this import is successful or not. You should not be worried about that. These are the capabilities which you are seeing on a left pan. This section, I can quickly collapse it, right? So these are the capability, this AI agent is currently having, and you can keep adding whatever additional thing you want to add. Okay. Basically. Cool. And then we have a risk level. As I mentioned, so these are the 4 different categories: low, medium, high, and a critical, depending upon what kind of action, we have defined in our method, which agent is going to do. And based on that, it decides whether human in the loop, like approval or denial, is required from the user or not. In fresh state, it's more of a Streamlit concept, because what happens is, since it's completely written in Python, and we know that whenever we run it, it starts from the beginning. So it's just rerun the entire code, but it happens so fast that you don't even realize something has changed. But what you have to do is, whatever the information you want to store, you have to put it in this state, so that you can maintain the state of your interaction of your agent. And right, that's the reason agent message, chart, and you can keep adding whatever the information you want to add into the state, which you want to preserve between 2 states, right? Execute tool call again. Here you see we have put this approved one, right, depending upon the risk. So we can see quickly, how it works actually, and it just check whether, manually it's approved or not. If it is approved, then it is going to take the action where you are going to change something on a GitLab. But if it is not something where risk is where it's only making a read only action on the repo, then it should be good. Finish turn, advanced agent, right? And this is what the additional thing. Now we are running in the infinite loop, and we are seeing for the pending confirmation, right? So this is just a logic, which you have to design in a way, so that you can just interact with the agent. So invoke with fallback, it's pretty much same. Submit prompt, so it's just a logic, so I don't think so you have to understand every line of code. I will just push the code to the repo, and then you can just go through, and if you have any question, you can ask me in the description, in the comment section of my video. Okay, so that's pretty much it from my side for this particular video. If you have any feedback or suggestion, then feel free to reach out to me directly. You can put comment in the comment section. You can provide your feedback and suggestion, so that we can make this agent more intelligent. If you feel I'm missing something on this, I can keep adding that kind of intelligence into this AI agent, and then I can just enhance the UI accordingly, depending upon what kind of additional feature non-technical user or the technical user would be required. So that's pretty much it from my side for this particular video. And as always, thanks for watching this. Stay healthy and keep learning new things.